This Wednesday night edition of high school girls basketball presents the most anticipated rivalry in the Suburban East Conference, and the first time our two teams have met since an overtime thriller in last year's Section 4 4A final. It's a pair of 8-win teams. The Stillwater Ponies at 8-2 take on the East Ridge Raptors at 8-4. Stillwater with a bevy of scoring and experience. East Ridge with a lot of youth and promise. Greetings, everyone. I'm Mike Beaton, all by myself, talking to myself. That's Chaos Theory. Stillwater started conference play with a pair of convincing victories, I should say, started the calendar year. They did have an upset loss to White Bear Lake, a team that has given them some trouble over the years, but Stillwater is back at full strength since our last visit. That game, December 23rd, there were several injuries and a player that was out on vacation. But they're all back, or most of them. Amber Scalia will give it a go tonight. The Ponies have played well in her absence, including the Centennial game where Amy Thompson and Lizzie Holder lit up the score column, 27 and 25 respectively. Those are still their season highs. Amber Scalia, a beacon of scoring. She was on a tear to start the season. You also will see Lexi Karlen. She was not available in that game against Centennial as her family was on a vacation that was planned before the season. Lexi Karlen has really grown in the last couple of years after her big sister went to Marquette and Lexi moved up the lineup. Annika Pepper also made quite the impression in that game over Centennial. And Tim Pepper, the Stillwater head coach, said that game did wonders for her confidence. As a result, this Stillwater team, they have plenty of options when it comes to perimeter shooting. They have some inside weapons as well with Lizzie Holder and Lexi Karlen, and they remain the favorites to win the Suburban East. But standing in their path is a gritty and resilient East Ridge team. East Ridge doing well. They won their pair of games at the Roseville Holiday Invitational. They also picked up a win over White Bear Lake recently in conference play. They are getting back Carly Rexstad. She had some ankle issues but was cleared to play. Sydney Clower is out, but East Ridge is working their way back to full strength. Emily Christenson, she has returned to the lineup. Grace Knupp averaging 12 points per game. Clower was the team's leading scorer, and the one issue East Ridge has run into, no big-time scores the way Stillwater can go. So finding that go-to, that X factor who can chip in a burst of points, that could be the key. But remember, this is a young East Ridge group, still learning the ropes, still learning how to navigate the terrain. But with Ashley Ellis-Milan and all of her experience as a coach and a player, this East Ridge team was a sleeper last year, and they are expected to contend. This is the first of potentially 3 meetings. We'll see what happens tonight, but it should make for a wonderful prologue. We'll be back for the starting lineups. This is high school girls basketball.
Twin Cities Sports Broadcasting, and a whole lot more. That's what you get from TSB Television. We provide long-lasting digital coverage of your favorite athletes from the preps to the pros. Dazzling moves.
Holloman, good if it goes. Yes!
Game winners.
From James. She's in trouble. Finds James. Toss shot! It goes in!
And everything in between.
Before we let you go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Oh, I don't know. That put me on the spot there.
If you want to connect with our audience, visit us at patreon.com/TSB Television or sponsor our coverage through PayPal and Cash App. Thank you for watching.
And we return to the perch at East Ridge High School in Woodbury for a long-time conference rivalry, at least since East Ridge came into operation back in 2009. A few years ago, it was East Ridge who dominated this series. Stillwater has run the tables in the Suburban East since then. Last year, the Ponies undefeated in conference play, 18-0. they could only play within the conference due to the condensed schedule. So they've had a couple of years with undefeated runs in the Suburban East. That won't happen this year with the loss to White Bear Lake as the East Ridge Raptors are being introduced. East Ridge, again, slowly returning to full strength as far as their lineup is concerned, but they don't have any scores that jump out at you. Sydney Clara was the leading scorer at 13 points per game, but she will not play. Grace Knupp, 12.3, Christenson, 10.9. Outside of that, the production spreads around a bit. Jenna Ritzer, Isabella Sane, Carly Rekstad, and Elle Wildman all average 6 to 7 a game. Stillwater has 4 double-digit scores. So if you look at the numbers, the metrics favor Stillwater, but the metrics favored Stillwater last year, and we almost had that upset. Here's a look at the starters one more time for the Stillwater Ponies, the visitors. It's Amy Thompson, number 12. Amber Scalia, the St. Thomas commit, number 21. Lizzie Holder, the Colorado commit, number 22. Lydia Knudsen, number 23. And Lexi Karlen, number 42. East Ridge will start. Elle Wildman, number 3. Carly Rekstad, number 20. Grace Knupp, number 23. Jenna Ritzer, number 32. And number 33, Emily Christenson. East Ridge 8-4, they've won 4 in a row. Stillwater 8-2, they have won 5 in a row. So both teams on streaks after dropping a pair. East Ridge got pummeled by Hopkins, and then they've eked out some wins since then, coming off a runaway win over Forest Lake. Stillwater, 3 Suburban East games, the most recent, a 67-15 win over Woodbury. They held Woodbury to just 4 points in the second half of that one. We're underway at the Perch, and Amy Thompson fires the 3. That rims out. Lexi Karlen gets the rebound. She'll shoot 2. Lexi Karlen, the younger sister of Liza Karlen, who is now at Marquette. Of course, Liza Karlen left an indelible impression in her 2 years with the Ponies. Lexi Karlen, the lefty. Big Lex is her nickname. A volleyball-basketball crossover. Also takes part in the Link crew. And she's a lefty. Lefty, lanky. Her big sister is right-handed, but both excellent athletes. Speaking of excellency, Grace Knupp with an excellent drive through the lane for 2. And that gets East Ridge on the board in the early going. Lizzie Holder lost the handle and turns it over. Ashley Ellis-Milam was looking forward to this series. The flavor's a little different with Willie Taylor now at St. Paul Academy, and East Ridge coughs it up. Amber Scalia looking to go transition. She hooks up with Lexi Karlen, who flips it in. And it's 3-2, Lexi Karlen with all 3 of Stillwater's points thus far. Here come the Raptors. Look to go inside. Grace Knupp with the stop and the friendly bounce in the lane. She connects on the pull-up. Lexi Karlen out at the key. Here's Knudsen. Doesn't see a lane. Runs another quick set with Scalia. Launches the 3, and it's off the mark. Grace Knupp, who has been highly active in the opening minutes, gets the rebound there. Stepping into the 3 is Christensen. Ritzer got the rebound, but had no one there to help out. Stillwater looking to push, and the lead pass was a little too far. A few years ago, the Suburban East was one of the toughest conferences. That has changed. Stillwater has run the table, winning the conference for the last 3 years. And East Ridge, they commit another turnover. We're seeing a lot of hot potato in the early going. Stillwater gets just enough control for Lydia Knudsen to score on the fast break. 5-4 is the score. East Ridge, it's been a slow but steady ascent. 3 from the right wing. Swish. Jenna Ritzer with her first field goal at 7-5. Holder lunges in. Lexi Karlen is there for the cleanup. Lexi having herself a fine start. And we're tied at 7s. Long 2. No good. And a dead ball rebound to Stillwater. So East Ridge, they've been to the section final 3 times since 2017. Every time they have come up short. Twice falling in overtime, including last year to Stillwater. But the return for the Raptors, as we said, slow but steady. 2017, lost in overtime. Elk River won it all that year. The following season, they didn't win a game. A couple years later, they found themselves back in the, or I should say, yeah, a couple years later, I had that right, 2020, they found themselves back in the section final. Lexi Karlen will find herself back at the free throw line. She split her last time up. Some of the data is not up to date, but I can tell you Karlen averaging 13.8 a game. Karlen's slightly smaller, maybe. They list her at 6 feet. Slightly smaller than Liza, but you wouldn't know it based on her production thus far. 7 points. And that gives Stillwater the lead again, 9-7. A nice attack through the lane, and Elle Wildman gets on the board. Amber Scalia, the no-look dish to Thompson for 3. That goes over the backboard, but East Ridge collected the rebound, so academic. Lizzie Holder, her block was academic. Lizzie, no stranger to either side, a Fury member for the last several years in AAU. Tim Pepper, part of that program. But she also spent some time in North Tartan. It's AAU, so players go just about anywhere. And she got to work with Ashley Ellis-Milan. The two reconnected before the game. Foul is called on Stillwater, so free throws coming for Grace Knupp. If you weren't with us for our last visit here when East Ridge hosted Eden Prairie, Grace Knupp once ziplined at the Continental Divide in Costa Rica. Ziplining on the Eliminator course in American Gladiators, that's one thing. Ziplining in Costa Rica, that's a memory you'll cherish for a long time. Knupp splits at the line. And this back and forth seesaw flow continues to trickle. Stillwater looked for the entry pass. It was offline, mishandled. And a turnover on the Ponies. The Ponies, they've won 3 straight Suburban East Conference titles. They've won 3 straight section titles in 4-4A. Give and go for the Raptors. Amber Scalia stayed with it and got the rejection. And we'll try again. 13:21 left in the first half. That's a beautiful cut and a beautiful score by Jenna Ritzer. Got herself open. And East Ridge with their largest lead of the game. It's still early, but this could be an encouraging sign for the Raptors. Knudsen attacks. and scores. All the scoring from Stillwater has come from 2 players. That figures to change as the game progresses. Stillwater, their front 5, simply too loaded with talent, and that has been the case for the last several years, whether it was the big 3 of Amber Scalia, Alexis Pratt, and Lizzie Karlen, or the current iteration that you're seeing on the floor here. East Ridge looking to go inside perhaps. Right now staying out. They'll reset. Grace Knupp off the screen. Goes forward and scores. Grace Knupp with a pinch of bravado. Knupp going for the steal. She'll be hit with a foul. And we'll get our first look at a pair of East Ridge reserves. Isabella Sane, the niece of Tony Sane. And Carly Rekstad goes back in. Rekstad again returning from an injury. Lizzie Holder comes up short. Lexi Karlen somehow got the offensive rebound, and Knutson flips it in for 2. (14-13). Christenson, the dish. Now she fires the corner 3, and that goes off the back iron, but the high carom bounces over to Broberg. Christenson with another crack at it. Stillwater with numbers. Here comes Thompson, puts on the accelerator. Knutson is there for the cleanup, and a chance for a 3-point play. Lydia Knutson making her presence felt in a big way, an integral way. Knutson averaging just 5.7 a game. She's got 8. Little unusual to see only 2 players with all the points for the Ponies, but that's where we are right now. And that isn't to suggest Holder and Scalia and Thompson aren't being active. And Stillwater will keep the ball on the dead ball rebound, so they have a chance to score a few more points, and Lizzie Holder will do just that. A 4-point play for the Ponies. Holder gets on the board. East Ridge went for the touchdown pass. Lexi Karlen was there for the interception. Amber Scalia fakes the 3. Knutson thought about it. She'll run a set instead. Holder to Scalia, off the screen. You bet. And this could spell trouble for East Ridge, with 2 of Stillwater's big names now getting in on the action. Isabella Sane can't post up on Karlen. Scalia in stride. Jukes her defender and lays it in. Stillwater on an 11-0 run. And they gallop to an 8-point lead. Knupp, guarded by Knutson, or Holder, I should say. Holder stayed with her. Al Wildman. Sane. Quick passing on the part of East Ridge, but Stillwater wasn't fooled. They get the block. Thompson has the rock. Here is Scalia. Fed Karlen on the entry pass, and I believe Rekstad was there for the rejection. Holder fouls Knupp. Big defensive stop for the Raptors. 9:24 to go in the first half. And that may not seem like much now, but any defensive stop you can get at this stage can give your team a jolt of momentum, a jolt of self-esteem, and certainly can help after getting walloped by an 11-0 run. East Ridge looking to end that. Holder anticipates the pass, tips it, and picks it up for the steal. Here's Holder. Through traffic again, Lizzie Holder has scored twice on left side drives. It's a 13-0 run for the Ponies, and that will be enough for Ashley Ellis-Milan to call a timeout. 8:52 remains in the first half. Stillwater leads 24-14, and Abe I think he's trying to keep up with this torn pace of the Ponies as of late, scoring 14 in a row. Looking ahead, Stillwater, they have two more non-conference games. They have Moorhead on Friday. That one should be winnable for the Ponies. The biggest non-conference game on the schedule, February 2nd against Wayzata. Mara Braun is hopefully going to return for the Trojans. She is recovering from injury. East Ridge, they have finished their non-conference slate, but the rematch with Stillwater is February 18th at Stillwater. Roseville, that rematch is January 26th. They might have something to say. Roseville vulnerable after that undefeated start. And that is the only loss East Ridge has suffered in conference play thus far. Their other three losses came against late conference foes, Minnetonka, Hopkins, and Eden Prairie. But Ashley Ellis-Milan isn't worried about the record at this point. And you saw that in the East Ridge Eden Prairie game. Grace Knupp with a great take, but too strong. As we noted before, East Ridge has a younger group, just one senior in Jenna Ritzer. So she's doing a lot more guidance. Amy Thompson firing that three-pointer like a guided missile. Homing in on the bucket. And it's now a 17-0 run for the Ponies. East Ridge with a step-back three. Lexi Karlen is there for the rebound. Stillwater can elongate this rally, and they will. Amber Scalia with the corner tray. 20-0. 20-0. The scoring run, that is. The score is 30-14, but a 20-0 run. I wouldn't call it a run at this point, a 20-0 warp. Stillwater got the tip, and they'll get possession. A 20-0 warp speed type of run. But this is emblematic of Stillwater over the years, whether it's conference play, non-conference. You can hang with them for a while, but if they find a way to go on that elongated rally, they put opponents in a jam. Amy Thompson can't hit the mid-range J. East Ridge looking for a dose of anything. Christenson breaks the run on a left side drive. Didn't have a lot of room to work with, but she got it in. That's what counts. Here's Liana Buckhalton. Her three is long. Buckhalton was one of the players who stepped into the starting lineup in the Centennial game when the Ponies had just 7 players available, and Stillwater won that one convincingly. But a chance for the Raptors to reclaim some mojo, and we mention this all the time, no matter who my partner is. If you can get a couple of possessions to go your way, that can stem the tide and turn it in your favor. Little give and go. And Carly Rekstad comes up strong, but Christenson is there! Emily Christenson comes up with a crucial bucket for the Raptors. And again, we mention crucial because the one thing you don't want to do finds herself in a big hole. Christenson played soccer through the 9th grade. Won't convert the three-point play, but that's an encouraging sign for the Raptors. Nice backdoor play. Buckhalton to Holder for 2. And Buckhalton with the swat. Holder catches up to it and lays it in for the finish. Holder up to 8 after a slow start in terms of scoring, but her performance anything but. 34-18, Stillwater up big against their Suburban East rival. Kickball, it will stay with East Ridge. Sane and Wildman go back in. East Ridge looked like they had a slowly growing edge, and then the 20-0 run by Stillwater kicked the Raptors out of the stable. And with 5 minutes and 15 seconds to go, East Ridge looking to work their way back. A left wing 3 can certainly help with that. Emily Christenson drains her first triple. Holder to Buckhalton. Karlen off the screen. Holder does a tremendous job setting screens for her teammates. Now she finds Lexi Karlen on a little pick and roll, I believe, as Karlen rolls her way to the lane and scores on the touch shot. Karlen with 9. Knupp on the drive. Lizzie Holder was there, outruns her coverage and streaks her way down court for the fast break deuce. Deuce is wild for Lizzie Holder. And I'm not saying that just because she wears 22. Using the pivot was Christenson, but Holder stayed on her and sealed her off. Elle Wildman races down court. Sane takes a tumble, gets back up. Wildman, the bounce pass to Sane, and Isabella showing no signs of wear after hitting the deck. Sane, of course, volunteers with the Tone Sane Foundation. I'll finish that in a moment because here comes Lizzie Holder on the take. She'll shoot 2.
Lizzie Holder will be at the free throw line for Stillwater.
Vertical and effort are the strengths for Lizzie Holder. And Tim Pepper agrees, an athletic, versatile forward going to Colorado. And Ashley had nothing but glowing remarks to say about Lizzie Holder, and you can put me in that camp as well. When she committed to Colorado, myself and some others were going, huh. Not suggesting she was overrated, but not a player that screamed Division I material. But more importantly, Lizzie Holder believed she was Division I material, put in a lot of work over the years. She's been on this varsity team for some time, but she played behind several of the big names a couple of years ago, so had a hard time making an impression. Grace Knupp with the hesitation move to get herself open and earn her trip to the free throw line. Knupp with 7 points, but the Raptors trail by 17, 40-23. That's a high arcing free throw on the part of Knupp. And Abe agrees. That's not just a traditional, not any old. Ari Gordon used to shoot like that. Quickness, speed, and unselfishness are the strengths Knupp believes she has, also a member of the National Honor Society. splits at the line. Stillwater looking to run again, and that pass was long. It's a high-risk, high-reward game sometimes when the transition game is a central element of your offense, three-pointers as well, and that hasn't changed with Tim Pepper as head coach in his first season, and that was a staple of the Willie Taylor teams. East Ridge wants a three, bullseye! Emily Christenson with her second triple, and if you're East Ridge, this is what you want. Dial your way back in. Scalia on the drive and kick to Buckhalton. Her three rims out. The rebound goes to Jenna Ritzer. Christenson thought about it, launches. O-board by the Raptors, but not the greatest position on the follow-up. Elle Wildman with a couple of steals to stop fast breaks. Skips it over to Christenson, straddles the baseline, and she was cut off. Leanna Buckhalton is there for the pick. Karlen, power move inside for two. Lexi Karlen with 11. Drawing the double was Rekstad. She'll weave through traffic and get free throws out of it. Rekstad, again returning to the lineup after there was some concerns about her injury, averaging 6.9 points per game. Rekstad, the junior. And talking with Ashley Ellis-Milan before the game as Rekstad misses both free throws, I think she's most excited about the upside and the potential of this group, knowing she'll get to work with most of them again next year. Stillwater, they run some crisp passing sets, but Amy Thompson lost the handle there, and that's a backcourt violation, so a break for the Raptors, who are aiming to keep pace with a long-time obstacle in the Suburban East, at least in the last several years. But 5 years ago, it was a much different story. You had multiple teams that were competitive in this group. White Bear Lake, Cretin-Durham Hall, East Ridge, Woodbury, they were no slouch. Stillwater was one of the bottom feeders. But the Scalias were the catalyst for building up the youth program and making Stillwater a top-tier destination for women's basketball. And the results have been splendid. Isabella Sane pulls up and hits the short jumper. Sane, she put in a good session when I covered her at the Fall Exposure event a few months ago, put on by Prep Girls Hoops and Junior All-Star. But Sane, she'll chip in a few buckets here and there. The long skip to Thompson for three, rattles out. There's Sane again with the rebound. Again, volunteers with the Tony Sane Foundation. Buckhalton can't get the steal. East Ridge, nice job on the swing. That opens Grace Knupp. She saw a big opening in the lane, and that was set up by the swing set. Christenson, good if it goes. Not quite, but you have to like that last play by East Ridge, using the swing set and waiting for that opening, and it was a gaping one in the lane. Grace Knupp with the bucket, and Stillwater with that 20-0 run. They hold the lead 42-31, but East Ridge steered the ship back in their direction, so an encouraging sign on the part of the Raptors. We'll take a break and go over first half numbers You're watching high school girls basketball. Stillwater leads East Ridge 42-31. Say that 5 times fast.
Twin Cities Sports Broadcasting, and a whole lot more. That's what you get from TSB Television. We provide long-lasting digital coverage of your favorite athletes from the preps to the pros. Dazzling moves.
Holloman, good if it goes. Yes!
Game winners.
From James. She's in trouble. Finds James. Tough shot! It goes in!
And everything in between.
Before we let you go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Oh, I don't know. That put me on the spot there.
If you want to connect with our audience, visit us at patreon.com/TSB Television or sponsor our coverage through PayPal and Cash App. Thank you for watching.
Mike beat him back, all by myself talking to myself. That's Chaos Theory. Second half of Suburban East Conference girls basketball at the Perch, about to get underway. Stillwater leads East Ridge 42-31. First half numbers, Lizzie Holder leads the Ponies with 12 points. Lexi Karlen with 11. Amber Scalia and Knudsen have 8. For East Ridge, Emily Christenson and Grace Knupp both have 10. Jenna Ritzer has 5. East Ridge was up 14-11. Stillwater scored 20 unanswered, and they have held the advantage since. But East Ridge has slowly chipped away at that margin, and that was crucial. When they were down 31-14, that was potentially a make-or-break point where the Raptors could have gone down big, and that would be the end of it. But the Raptors hanging in there. The question is, can they find a way to adapt to the speedy, potent offense of the Ponies? East Ridge on the run. They had a couple of chances inside, couldn't put it down. Holder hands it off to Scalia. May have had some contact. Holder can't pick it up, and the ball will roll past the timeline. Backcourt violation on the Ponies. $17-17 left. By the way, Isabella Sane, we wanted to finish up that story, didn't get a chance to. The Tony Sane Foundation, they do a lot of community service work. Christenson hoping to provide 3 more points of service, and she will with her 3rd triple. And so Isabella works with a program, Girls First, that gives aspiring female athletes who may not have a chance to play the opportunity to learn and develop their skills. East Ridge with another stop. This is a crucial possession. Christenson unable to connect on the 3 that time. But they are within 8. Amber Scalia with some misdirection, pulls up, no good. And the Raptors get another opportunity. Lizzie Holder with the swat against Christenson. Stillwater ball. And the East Ridge friends in front of me believe otherwise. Chance for the Ponies. Again, they led by as much as 17. Here comes Lizzie Holder. That left side slash paying high dividends in this one. That's the 3rd time she has scored, driving the left side of the lane. Wildman drives, bounces it over. Eastridge swings it out. Wildman lost her footing, had the opening, and couldn't maintain her balance. Eastridge catches another break. Grace Knupp missed that one. Christenson draws the foul after Knupp tipped the O-board to her teammate. East Ridge, they've had a couple of chances. That's the second foul on Holder. No one in serious foul trouble for the Ponies. Christenson is en fuego from three-point range. Well, I take that back. Knudsen has 3. Everyone else seems to be okay. Christenson with 4 triples. She is the only East Ridge player to score over 20 in a game, and she's got 16. Ritzer hit with a foul, but the Raptors slowly inching closer. They were in the top 10 earlier this season. Amber Scalia on the drive draws the foul, will shoot 2. Amber Scalia in the first 6 games of the season averaging 25.7, including a 30 spot. But she does so many other things for this team in terms of ball handling, distribution. Also is a big fan of car washes. Amber, the youngest of the Scalia sisters, scored her 1,000th point at the Breakdown Tip-Off Classic in December, when Stillwater knocked off St. Michael Albertville. Scalia up to 10 with those pair of freebies. Christenson on Holder. Penetrates, muscles her way inside. I'm not sure how she did it, but she out-muscled Holder on that sequence. Thompson is fouled. She'll go to the line for 2. Thompson held in check, just 3 points so far. And Ritzer. Okay, I thought I heard differently. Ritzer, that was her second personal foul. I thought I heard 4th. Amy Thompson, her favorite food is salad. We established that in our last broadcast. And that makes it a 9-point game. Stillwater 8 of 10 from the free throw line. East Ridge 2 of 7. And we saw this discrepancy play out, or I did, in the game I called for North Metro TV yesterday, Centennial and Blaine, where Blaine missed a lot of freebies at the line and ended up dropping a close one with their Northwest Suburban rival. Knupp, the skip to Christenson. Bullseye! The gap is now 6. Christenson, 5 triples. And she has matched a season high. Scalia, the drive and kick. Stillwater swings it out. Holder for 3. Rebound tipped to Wildman. One-on-one with Holder, but she'll back off and go to Christenson again. The perch would have erupted had she drained it. Now Stillwater has a chance. Traveling call. Lizzie Holder lost her footing and took a spill. Stillwater will call a timeout. 12:56 to go in the second half. And East Ridge, who had trailed by 17, they've slowly been inching their way back in this game. And Abe, I'm not sure, you were saying this is a rout? He's like, oh, not anymore. Not anymore. Well, East Ridge hoping to fire things up and rock their way to an upset win. They've been in the conversation again. They were in the top 10 in the 4A polls earlier this season. And we'd like to thank Valley Access Channels for syndicating this game in the St. Croix Valley airwaves. And we'd also like to welcome all of you who are watching this on YouTube. Stillwater remains one of our popular teams, even though Sarah Scalia is getting triples for the Golden Gophers these days. Christenson, 21 points. The only East Ridge player to score more than 20 in a game this season. Missed a couple due to injury. She wasn't available for the Eden Prairie game. And speaking with folks who know Ashley, who know this team, they said she is one of those glue players. And Ashley Ellis-Milan, we mentioned the wealth of experience she has. We know her story. A tremendous athlete at St. Paul Central. Parlayed that into a college career at Minnesota. She scored over 1,000 points, played overseas for a couple of years, and since then has taken up the coaching mantle, including stops at South, 2 years at Concordia, where she got to work alongside one of her assistants, Anna Schmidt, who is the all-time leading scorer at Waconia. East Ridge turns it over. An unfortunate circumstance there after the timeout because the Raptors had a chance to, well, they'll get another one. I was going to say they had a chance to really make a statement, really make some noise, but Wildman, her defense has been clutch in the second half, forcing the 5-second call on Amber Scalia, and this Raptors team getting a lifeline, looking to inch their way closer. Christenson can't beat Holder that time. And we've seen this a lot from the teams that aren't quite there yet. Scalia to Knutson. Sane got a piece of it, but a foul was called on the scramble for the ball. Lexi Karlen to the line for 2. Her big sister is playing DePaul tonight. Home game, so I believe. So the Karlen family running a split assignment. Lexi's dad is here. Lexi's mom is at Marquette to cheer on the eldest of the Karlens in Liza. Lexi had 11 first half points. This is her first score of the second half. And Stillwater has hit all of their free throws in the second half. 6 of 6 by my count. Sane back in for the Raptors. Christenson, another 3. And I'll tell you what, I think they're going to keep feeding it to Christenson. There's another sharpshooter in Thompson. Tried to fake it and almost lost it. Amber Scalia there for the recovery. She'll speed her way around the picket fence and put in a tough layup. Amber Scalia hasn't lost a step. Suffered a hand injury. They were worried initially that she would miss the season, or the rest of the season. Emily Christenson isn't giving up. And to finish up that point on Amber, she stayed in against Como Park with a bad hand, bad wrist, what have you, and put in one of her signature explosive scoring efforts. Speaking of explosive, Emily Christenson with a new season high. Christenson knocks down both free throws. And that's what you want if you're the Raptors. Remember, round 2 of this series is February 18th, and these two historically in the same section year in and year out, so it's reasonable to believe we could see these two in the 4A bracket at Hastings. East Ridge with another turnover forced. Sane didn't have an opening. Miscommunication on the route. That's bad news if you're a Stillwater opponent, because as Lizzie Holder demonstrated, you give Stillwater a free ball, they're going to run with it. Lizzie Holder got a little too grabby, tried to pressure Carly Rekstad into a bad pass, and instead she's hit with a third personal foul. So Knutson and Holder now have 3. Stillwater up by 10. And Stillwater, I think, has the depth to withstand foul trouble more so than East Ridge, but Lizzie Holder, one of the difference makers in this game with 16 points. Here's Knupp, the steady hand for the Raptors. Can't get the bounce there. The Ponies looking to keep some distance between themselves. The swing to Amber Scalia for three is good. And the way Stillwater can move the ball, as we saw there. Quick passing, fundamentally sound. Again, Tim Pepper has a lot of experience in this realm. Knupp on her pivot, too strong on the drive. Sane is there for the O-board and the putback. Isabella Sane, I like her game. She may not score a lot, but the sophomore, every time I've seen her play, she impresses me. Oh, Stillwater had the right idea, but they catch a break because Carly Rekstad tried to swoop in and the mishandled pass deflected off of her. So what could have been a turnover on the Ponies instead gives them a chance to reset with the side out. Holder shakes off her coverage. I think East Ridge was thinking one way. Lizzie Holder saw another and says, thank you very much. 18 points for Lizzie. Knupp used up the dribble. Sane with Karlen in her face. Doesn't bother her one bit. She drains the baseline pull-up. And Sane has 8. Holder, high carry, too high. The Raptors, not out of this yet. Another break. Can they cash in? Knupp to Christenson. The hot hand for the Raptors, season high 23. Isabella Sane left open, says I'll try again. And that's going to be a foul on Sane as she pushed Karlen to the ground, and you can't really do that in the sport. 59-48, 7:51 remains in the second half. That is the third personal foul on Sane. The Raptors with 1 to give. Stillwater on the move. Knudsen found a cutting Scalia, but East Ridge was there to send it away. Holder. Fade away. No good. Sane can't save it. 7:31 to go. Stillwater with plenty of recent history, reaching the championship round in 2019, losing to Hopkins in the 4A final. And they've reached the state tournament the last 3 years. Thompson finds Knudsen down low, and Knudsen goes up for 2. That puts her up to 10. Sane against Karlen. Contested shot, but the rebound bounces over to Wildman. Sane running into a little bit of trouble near the interior. And Knupp having a rough go of things here in the second half. Thompson off balance and missed the layup. Knupp thought about it. Thompson converged on her position. Wildman. The bounce pass to Sane. That was a beautiful backdoor play. And that is what Isabella Sane needed. Get herself an open look, because that is where she has excelled in this one. Lizzie Holder for three. In and out. 6 minutes to go. Both teams still have 4 timeouts. Here's Knupp. Takes it herself. I thought, well, she tips the rebound over to Wildman. It looked for a second from here that Sane was open. Knupp went for it on her own, and it didn't pay off, but East Ridge gets back on defense. They get the steal. That was Christenson. And Wildman drains the baseline J. Timeout, which gives us a chance to catch our breath. 5:32. East Ridge calling the timeout. They'll have 3 remaining. 61-52 the score. A few more notes on the Raptors. Sydney Clower, unable to play tonight, but she likes to sell her old clothes on eBay. And a little more about Ashley Ellis-Milan. When I talked to her before the game, plans to scale back her AAU commitments. She was the head coach of the North Tartan 2025 team, but with her day job in the Lynx and Timberwolves, decided to scale back. Thought I was spreading myself a little thin, but she said what I enjoy most about the upcoming season is I get to be a fan. She said, I haven't burned any bridges yet, but let's be honest, it would take a lot for her to do that, because everywhere I go, when I talk to players that she has coached, friends, colleagues, people who have had the chance to work with her and grow up with her, they have nothing but positive things to say. Ashley wants to give back. She wants to help the next generation. That's what got her into coaching. And the resume she has built, I don't know what her record will be. I'm not sure how many titles she'll win. But she commands a lot of respect in this community with what she has accomplished as a player, as a coach. Her role with the Lynx and Timberwolves. And we have a stoppage here, I think because of a substitution. Or, no, it wasn't a substitution. It was where the inbound was. And it came after an East Ridge basket, so we had to go underneath. And not a side out. Thompson sees a lane. Yes! And Thompson with that combination of speed and acceleration. She came over from Matamidi a couple of years ago, providing a welcome boost to the Ponies. The driving kick to Knupp for 3. Short, and Grace Knupp ice cold from the floor in the second half. Scalia momentarily loses her balance. Tried to feed Thompson. Instead, they cough it up. Knupp, not giving up, goes for the bounce pass instead. And that will net free throws for Jenna Ritzer, who has 5 points, has not scored this half. On the season, Ritzer averaging 7.2. This is big, a chance to score with the clock stopped. But time is going against the Raptors, and the shot clock will not be in effect for a couple more years. So a chance for the Ponies to work the clock and eat up time. Let it evaporate. Or Knudsen will take the lane, the driving kick. Scalia fakes the 3 and draws the foul. East Ridge had 1 to give. I don't believe it was in the act of shooting. The officials will have a discussion.
Raptors foul number 3, Mel
That's on Wildman, her second. Thompson to Holder. A beauty of an inbound play. I should say that was Scalia to Holder. Either way, a textbook set off an inbound, and Grace Knupp, this is the second half she'll want back. She just can't get anything going in her favor, and Sane will go in place of Carly Rekstad. Sane with 10 points. Again, playing splendidly tonight. I'd like to see where she goes in a couple of years. Knupp drives to Christenson. She can't hit the three. Rebound tip to Christenson. Goes up with it. And again, Sane looked like she was open if Christenson spotted her. Of course, I'm up here. Look out, Bong. I'm up here, and I don't have to make the split-second decisions like they do, but Stillwater has a chance to salt this one. They had a frenetic first half. Characteristic of their high-flying offense. Christenson able to stay in bounds and get the steal. East Ridge giving Stillwater everything they have defensively. Offensively, they have struggled, and Knupp has not scored a field goal, hasn't scored at all in this frame. Christenson tried the three, goes for the drive, and that's the difference in this game. Stillwater got the timeout call. They had the arrow. That's the difference in this game, and I think the difference between these two teams. Stillwater a little more poised, a little more polish when it comes to the fundamentals. East Ridge, they're right there, but they're struggling a little bit on those drives when the threes aren't falling, and they've had some openings. I think this is where the experience factor is coming into play. The Ponies have a little more on their side, and they have the pedigree, even though it's a new coach, different system than what they had a year ago with Willie Taylor and Andrea Hubbard, who is no longer in the state of Minnesota. She got a promotion recently at her job at Land O'Lakes. Want to give her a shout out for that. But you have a young East Ridge team who just one senior. You've got a Stillwater team that has two D1s, and they almost always have D1s these days. Whether it was Sarah Scalia, Gianna Carr, Alexis Pratt, Liza Karlen. And those intangibles can go a long way in crunch time because Stillwater has a little more sense of control. East Ridge, they'll get there. And remember, they were on the precipice. I know I would have loved to see their rematch with Roseville, but I'll be on another game that evening. Lexi Karlen tries to drop the dagger, and Amber Scalia had the right idea, but couldn't reach the ball in time. And the Raptors, they've won some close ones. They edged the Centennial team that knocked off Blaine last night. And they figured to be in the conversation when we get to section play. The question for the Raptors is that learning curve, as we have a little over 2 minutes to go, and Grace Knupp finally gets a play, a positive play in her favor. Scoring on the drive, but does East Ridge have enough time? They're out of fouls to give. Less than 2 minutes to go. Well, that will help. Elle Wildman with an extraordinary second half defensive effort. East Ridge will call a timeout. They'll have 2 remaining, 1:54 to go. What looked like a Stillwater runaway when they had that 20-0 burst. East Ridge, they're still down by 9, and I don't know if they've got enough in the tank for the win. That being said, this will be a useful backdrop for that second meeting, February 18th, and one of those nights where you have lots of games, lots of great matchups on the schedule. You've got IMG and Hopkins scheduling their makeup. They were supposed to meet in December. That didn't happen. We're doing our best to juggle. Stillwater, they took the holidays off and fortunately haven't run into any postponements yet. Wayzata, that's going to be a crucial game that could go a long way to determining state tournament seeding. They dropped one with Rosemount in overtime, got the win over STMA. So we'll see. And 4-4A back to a neutral site this year in Hastings, so the seeding won't have a lot of influence in that regard. East Ridge. Isabella Sane drains the reverse. And Sane's got a new season high. It's a 7-point game, but again, East Ridge, that's a tough position. Wildman hit with their third foul, and you're sending one of Stillwater's best to the line. Amber Scalia with a pair of threes and has a chance to add a couple more here at the line. Amber Scalia, front end of a 1-and-1. Her first game back after missing the last 4. Stillwater collects the rebound. Jump ball, they have the arrow. That was one of those lucky bounces that a Stillwater player happened to be in the vicinity, and that should go a long way to icing this one. Thompson beats it to Karlen. You see East Ridge having to take a few more risks at this stage. Ritzer picks up her third. And that is why rebounding is so critical. Karlen. No field goals this half. Missed the front end. Last touched by Holder. So East Ridge does get the break they were looking for, but they lose a little bit of time in the process. They're going to have to score quick if they want to have a chance at this. And Knupp, tough drive. That has been the story of her second half, just trying to make something happen, but not necessarily finding the best angles, the best openings to attack. And that will be part of the learning curve for Knupp, the junior. Remember, this East Ridge team, not only are they young, but they lost one of their anchors to early graduation. Britt Carlson decided to graduate early to focus on her volleyball career at Washington State, and there's another offensive rebound for the Ponies. East Ridge with the steal. Less than a minute, though. They're running out of time. Christenson, deep three. No good, and East Ridge almost had the steal. Instead, we'll get free throws. Sane picks up her fourth. This is a game where East Ridge, I think they're going to take some positives, some good things that happen. Finishing efficiency, that's going to be the key for them in this second meeting, and potentially a section meeting should these two square off again in March. And we might be there. Well, we're going the other way. Foul on Stillwater. They're not going to like the free throw shooting woes late in the second half. That have allowed East Ridge to hang around when Stillwater could have iced it. The Raptors haven't done enough to make Stillwater flinch, but I think Pepper, who calls the timeout, 23.7 left, and that should just about do it. I think when Stillwater looks back at the tape, they will want to clean up those second half free throw issues, because you never know when that could affect the outcome of a game. We saw that last night with Blaine. They missed a lot of freebies that could have given them the victory. So for Stillwater, they have a rematch with White Bear Lake on February 3rd. If you're wondering how the first game, how they lost the first meeting, Tim Pepper, he looked at the tape and he was hoping, oh, it was a bad effort. And he said, no, we played well. White Bear Lake just played a little bit better, but the Bears, they picked up a win over Roseville recently. They're one of those teams you never know what to expect. They can look flat one game and come out flying in the next. So White Bear Lake could be a sleeper team in the section. That would be another group. Outside of that, I don't think there's anyone else who poses a threat. Knupp fouls Thompson, but Academic with 17.8 on the clock. Again, for East Ridge, it's going to be finishing plays. Defensively, they did enough to put themselves in contention and win this game. But they're going to look back on those missed opportunities. Grace Knupp, in particular, had a rough second half. But I think this Raptors team, Ashley Ellis-Milan, was great. Knupp knocks down the three. A little too late for Knupp, but Ashley Ellis-Milan with the Eden Prairie game, which marked a tough stretch. They played 4 games in 5 days that week. Minnetonka and Hopkins. Ashley took the long form view. Would you love to win those games? Absolutely. But Ashley, her role, as LaToya Turk noted, and Ashley effectively concurred with her role is that of a guide. You see a lot of instructional notes when Ashley communicates with her team. So the focus is getting a little bit better, trying to build up a group that doesn't have a lot of history in the sport of girls basketball. No state tournament appearances, and an up and down history as far as their performance. Ashley Ellis-Milan, this job fell in her lap. She was part of the De La Salle staff. Things fell apart there, but not by her own doing. Her predecessor stepped down. The job opened up in November. The season hadn't started yet. Ashley went for it, got accepted, and she's got a lot of experience with her on that bench. David Michelson, who does a lot of player development and knows Ashley well. Anna Schmidt from Laconia. Zach Vogelsberg, the former head coach at Tartan. Amy Thompson has a chance to pad her numbers. And Thompson has been money at the free throw line. With that, all 5 Stillwater starters have reached double digits. Lizzie Holder picks up another 20-point game. Time will expire. And Stillwater picks up their 6th straight win. 71-61 the final. And the Ponies get that all-important first win against East Ridge. All important because this will factor into section seeding. But the two will meet again February 18th, and based on the tenacity of East Ridge's defense, I wouldn't be surprised if the Raptors and Ponies have a photo finish in the rematch. But the night belongs to Stillwater. We'll try to get a word with a couple of their players before we call it a night. This is high school girls basketball. Stillwater beats beats East Ridge 71-61. And I promise the next time these two meet, I'll get that closing right. And we're joined by Lizzie Holder and Amber Scalia. Lizzie, we'll start with you. Another 20-point game tonight. You had a slow start as far as scoring was concerned, but you turned it on. Your ability to drive on the left side, that was one advantage you exploited for Stillwater tonight. So East Ridge, they hung in there, but how do you think Stillwater was able to hold them off?
I think we really played as a team on defense and on offense. That's the biggest thing I think we've been working on in practice, and just high intensity. We knew that they were going to bring their best, and we had to as well.
All 5 Stillwater starters reached double digits in scoring tonight. We know they can spread the ball around in terms of offense, but when you see that in action, how crucial is that when you have a tough Suburban East opponent like East Ridge?
Well, especially when they have good defenders, like defenders that stand out. It's nice so we can move the ball and get other people other looks.
And one of them rejoined you in her first game after missing 4. Amber, how hard was it to sit out in those 4 games? I know for a while you were thinking perhaps the season's over. Fortunately, that wasn't the case, but how excited were you to get back out there?
Extremely excited. I couldn't be happier to be back right now, especially just it's fun being out there with my teammates and stuff. I missed it a lot.
And you scored 16 points, but something we've seen out of you in AAU and in high school play, your ability to set up your teammates, distribute the ball. A couple of times you fed them perfectly on inbound, so you do a little bit of everything. How do you think your presence helps the flow of this team?
I think just seeing the floor really well and seeing my teammates when they're open, I think it really helps everyone, and everyone was in double digits tonight, so it showed.
You've won 5 in a row now, or something to that effect. So after dropping 2 in a row, what do you think has helped get this team back on track and in the conversation?
It just really gave us something to work for, I think. And it showed us higher competition that we wouldn't normally see in our conference. The losses did, and now we're able to push ourselves harder.
Yeah, pretty much what Lizzie said.
And Lizzie, we talked to you a little bit about this, but I want to get your input because Amber, both of you are going to Division I next year, Amber to St. Thomas, Lizzie to Colorado. And as you make that transition, how instrumental have the Stillwater graduates been, because you got to play alongside fellow D1s and Lizzie Karlen and Sarah Scalia, Gianna Carr, Alexis Pratt. I'm not sure what kind of conversations you've had with them, but how do you approach a season like this, and what advice would you give to your fellow teammates and anyone else who watches you play who might be considering a D1 path in basketball?
I would just say the work outside of practice is the most crucial. Just in the gym, like hours alone, is what changed me personally as a player. And also just hustle and measure your game based on how much effort you put into it, not how well you perform.
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to like effort, like Lizzie said, putting in the hours after practice, staying after, shooting, working on your own game by yourself, dribbling in your basement. I know Amy does that a lot, things like that.
Well said. And before you go, you want to say hi to anybody?
Shout out Manny, Kenny, and Jan.
Shout out to manager Kendra and Jana.
All right, Kendra, Jana, and all the others, thanks for watching. Congrats on the win. We'll see if you can keep this win streak going, and I have a feeling we'll cross paths again with the way you can put up points.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Lizzie Holder and Amber Scalia, that wraps up our coverage here from the Perch at East Ridge High School. For the rest of our crew, I'm Mike Peden. Thanks for watching.